Welcome to Talk About Topeka Live, coming to you from the Topeka Performing Arts Center. This Connecting the Arts segment, we've got Dr. James Young. He's a slinger of tales here. Got a very, very colorful past here. Brought to you by The Break Room in downtown Topeka. I'm your host, Chris Schultz. And Dr. Young, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
And I also want to thank you for something else. Your service in our armed forces in the Army. So give a guy a round of applause here. I always like to thank our veterans.
Thank you.
And not only did you serve there, you actually you went to West Point.
Yes.
And you got a degree in West Point. Then you came back here after service, and you got another degree. Got your PhD from K-State.
Yep.
And now you're telling some fantastic stories, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you growing up. Let's start with the beginning here. Sling us a tale about what it was like for you to grow up that got you into the military.
This is always the point where I'm glad that my mother's not here because she tells a much different version of this story. No,
I'll call her after this and make sure.
she won't answer. She's a former attorney. She's used to not answering strange phone numbers. No.
Billable hours, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, she used to be criminal defense. She just doesn't do
all
that.
Right.
That looks like the bail. Nope. So no, I grew up in a small town in Missouri. My parents, my dad retired out of the Air Force out of Whiteman, so they got a small farm just outside of Whiteman, and then moved to another small town because they got tired of being stuck at the bottom of a hill every snowstorm. I mean, literally, there was like one time, 4 days, my sister and I didn't see them. We're like, this is not normal, right? I mean, people's parents do come home, and so no, they're a little small town called Holden, Missouri. It's a small town about 2,000, about an hour southeast of Kansas City. And going into the military, again, this is this point where I hear my mother's in my head like, tell the truth. No, my dad was in the military, and he had always said, if you're going to go in, son, go in as an officer. And I'm always like, oh, well, Dad, what difference does it make? And he said, well, it's kind of like this, Custer, the little encounter with the Sioux. Here's how that works. If you just enlist, Custer's an idiot, but you still got to follow him. If you're an officer, you maybe have a say in things. And after that one, I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I always cut the hair short, but I really don't want to get scalped. So, so I went to West Point, and best 4 years of my life. I'll never do that again. And then, after that, I went into the Army for 6 years and said, okay, I want to go to grad school and get my degree in history. And
military history has been your focus.
Yeah, military history when I was at West Point, and then officially the degree says U.S. history, but I did my dissertation on the Air Force. So,
excellent. Well, and what's it like, looking at history from the point where you were young to the point where it is now? Give us a little.
When I was young, I was a lot more idealistic. I mean, I always thought that, nobody'd be that stupid. Well, being on the far side, you realize, wow, we've seen this movie before. You're like, kind of like, wait, didn't they just read this about when this happened 40 years ago and it didn't end well? Wait, okay, whatever.
Those who don't remember our history are doomed to repeat it, right?
And those that know it are just doomed to scream in terror as it unfolds again. So.
Yeah, that's true too. So, and I want to talk about what got you into writing. You've won several great awards.
Yep.
And you've written this incredible book.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about this.
So that's Aries Red Sky. I have 2 series going right now. I have the Rogasi Universe, which is my sci-fi series, and then I have the Usurper's War, which is my alternate history series. Basically, the sci-fi series, it started off with the first book was Unproven Concept. Basically, I took a Starliner full of people, tossed it out in alien space, and the aliens board it. And when I wrote that was back in 2012. Everybody said, well, all these characters, these are neat stories, but we'd like to know what happened beforehand because you refer to all these things. We went and looked at the last book, or looked for all the stories beforehand. We couldn't find any of them. And I'm kind of like, well, that's because, like a movie, I mean, you start with Luke Skywalker on Tatooine. You start with Darth Vader. You don't really start with the prequels, and George Lucas kind of explains why you shouldn't do that. Then I went ahead and went against myself, and that's the first in the prequel series where you have humanity split 700 years ago. And one side, you basically took all the dissidents and political outcasts, and you stuck them out in space. And this is what happens when the other half catches back up with them. And I tell people it's a war that was 7 centuries in the making. And most of the sci-fi is a mix of, if I had to put genres, I'd say Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Aliens, Robotech, and Halo. He threw them all in a blender together. That's pretty much the kind of sci-fi I write.
And going into sci-fi, from military history to sci-fi, that gives you kind of a different view, right? Talk a little bit about your inspirations there.
So a lot of the inspirations were authors like David Drake, John Ringo, David Weber, authors of that type. A lot of the military sci-fi, and Robert Heinlein. So that was the inspiration growing up. I used to being out in the country, being out in the middle of nowhere, read a lot, and that was they'd always laugh when they saw us coming to the library because we go in once a week and okay, get all the books and take them home and read them during the summer because there was nothing else to do.
Well, and you can pick this book up on Amazon.
Yes, you can pick it up on Amazon.
Aries Red Sky by Dr. James Young here on Amazon.
Yep.
And I need to pick up a copy. I'll take a look at it.
That's actually your copy.
All right, excellent.
Hey.
We can talk for another 20 minutes now. All right.
Well, reset your timer. We got plenty of time.
Thank you very much.
Well,
I'll appreciate that and enjoy reading it.
Thank you.
And I want to talk a little bit about what it's like as you've settled down here in Topeka, because you've been all over the place via the military.
Yes, we came here from Germany. It was funny. We came here, and this is my wife. My wife didn't come tonight, so this is going to be my revenge on her. She's going to see this segment later. You may see me in the news again. But we came here from Germany, and my wife is originally from Canada, so she's coming here to Kansas. Of course, we all know Kansas is famous for tornadoes. And so we're coming here, and this is in 2003. So my good friend Dave, he being a little bit of a jokester, and when they had the tornado hit Lawrence, of course he makes sure she sees it on CNN, the link and everything else. So we get here, she's terrified of tornadoes and everything else. Well, I knew she was about a Kansas native when I looked up, and we'd been here. We just got the house, so it's been about 3 years. The sky is literally green. The sirens are going off. And she's cleaning the garage, and I go out to her and I say, hey, when the sky looks like that and it's spinning, we should probably go to the basement. I'm not done cleaning the garage yet. Honey, I love you. You're insured. I'm taking the cats. We're going downstairs.
There's an interesting thing here for people who've been around Kansas. Well, it sounds like she's pretty tough, as well.
Yes.
But people who've been around Kansas, been around tornadoes, when they've got it backwards. This tornado warning, that's warning people that the tornado should be coming. Tornado watch means to go outside and watch it come through.
I still go to the basement. I've lived in the Midwest all my life.
That comment was not endorsed by me at all. I didn't say that, and don't do that. But it's pretty cool when you move into a place like this, and most people are just scared silly about the weather.
Yeah. You learn to respect it, and like I said, she got over that real quick.
Very cool. Well, she sounds tough. I think you did her justice tonight. So
yeah.
She shouldn't have anything to come back on you for. So
just remember, when I'm wearing this outfit on the milk carton.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming by. I encourage everybody to go out, buy your book, Aries Red Sky, on Amazon, and Colfax Den is where you can find it on Facebook. Follow Dr. James Young, the Slinger of Tales, and I want to thank you so much for joining us. And of course, this segment was brought to you by the Break Room in downtown Topeka. Check it out. From comedy shows to special events and private parties, the Break Room is Topeka's best place to gather to make memories with friends. Check it out in downtown Topeka. And best of luck on the future. We're going to be following you. Keep us updated when you have more stuff coming out.
Will do.
You bet. I appreciate you.
Thank you.